always the tough slot between lunch, between you and lunch. Thanks, everyone. So, yes, Sashay Ramdharee. I had the pleasure of leading this project for a short period of time. But wow, what a project! Yes, thanks, Pietro. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for letting me share some of my experiences on the project, especially with regards to gender mainstreaming. Um, I didn't make a presentation for this because, sure, we've been through a lot of presentations in this session, and some of them are pretty heavy. A lot of good information, but I said I'd rather share the softer side of the project and the softer side of my relationships with my colleagues in this project. So yes, thanks. I'm just going to share some of my perspective and maybe give you some insight as to what drove this project and really the females in this project that made this project work. So you know the saying that men are from Mars and ladies are from Venus, right? So what we found in this project is that we really took heed in what the females had to say in our project. And what I find is that if you go out into industry and work with a lot of male-dominated engineers and project teams, you sort of miss a component of that. There's a component that females bring to the party that certainly adds a lot of value to the project. And I'm going to share some numbers on how that translated into real good progress in our project. So I'm going to speak to the Industrial Energy Efficiency Project and the project management team. And in our team, we had one gentleman in the Western Cape. We had 3 females in Gauteng with just 1 male, so I was outnumbered. 1 male in KZN with 3 females again. So putting that into perspective, that's approximately a 70% technical team that was accounted for by females. Right? That's a pretty big number there. So 70% of our core project management team in this project were female. And yes, most definitely from my perspective, there was tremendous contribution and really um, uh, great success and pivotal decisions that we made in the project and in projects within the project with customers to really drive that success. You know, the industrial energy efficiency project really reached a high point in 2021 where we 2020/2021 where we won the internationally acclaimed project of the year from the Association of Energy Engineers. That's really the highest accolade for an energy efficiency project in the world. And it's not something to take lightly. And in addition to that, in the same year, we won the South African Energy Efficiency Confederation Project of the Year. So that's the highest accolade for a South African project. So those are 2 projects, 2 awards that we won. And that feat would have never been possible if it wasn't for the driving force of our project managers and female staff at the NCPC. I just want to admit that person. Yep. So, what I've also noticed in this project is that a lot of our technical project managers and drivers of projects within industry went to battles. Our job was to go to industry, identify what they're doing wrong, and tell them that in the nicest way possible, and get them to change. It's not an easy task. It's quite controversial because you're going to get into a project management meeting and tell a guy that he's operating something incorrectly and wasting millions of rands every day. And our female engineers and project managers had to go out and do that. And I've seen a lot of battles in these meetings, and I can confidently say that our female engineers in the project that went into those meetings fought tooth and nail, and they fought it on technical bias. When you go into those meetings, it's not hearsay. You're basing your decisions and you're basing what's going to happen on actual data and technical bias. So if you technically understand a project, you can argue it. And I've seen that happen on so much more than one occasion. And it was really testament to show the capability and capacity that has been built in this project. So that was really something nice to see and something that I'd really take with me. So in addition to that, I keep touch with many of the female colleagues that have come through the training at the NCPC. And I'm going to spend a minute on the training. Yesterday, we were in the graduation ceremony downstairs. And 10 years back, Renette Van Zyl and Wendy de Cruz were the first two female students that entered the NCPC courses, or the Industrial Energy Efficiency Project courses. And for a long time after that, we didn't have females that attended. It was quite a while until Tanya Van Zyl, who's now employed at the NCPC, joined one of the courses. So we didn't have a lot of women participation at the beginning. And something that Carmen covered in her presentation as well, and the numbers are there, is that has changed significantly. If you look at the presentation or graduation ceremony we had yesterday, there was a higher representation of females to males. So that just shows and puts some testament to the gap that has been covered and the journey that industry in South Africa and the project has went through in terms of capacitating and mainstreaming females in this segment. So that's something that's really great. In addition to that, I do keep in touch with a lot of people we have trained in the project, and I can confidently say that there's been tremendous professional development from females that have attended courses such as, or have been involved in projects such as the NCPC. They've really grown leaps and bounds, and I'm going to cover some of the really good ones that have come through the program. Something that we can do better, and I think an opportunity that does exist for us, is a significant need for mentorship. And it's something that Rana picked up in her presentation as well. You know, we've developed this platform of really good female experts in the industry and also female trainers. We had a bulk of really good qualified trainers of NCPC courses that came through or graduated yesterday. What we need to identify, and I really urge the NCPC and maybe stakeholders in this room to think about that, is develop a platform such that we link budding engineers, women within industry that are willing to proceed and get it through the ranks, maybe some even executive level, develop a coaching and mentoring program to link these individuals to people that have come through these training courses, that have come through becoming a facilitator, that have come through working through the ranks and becoming an executive in the space that they're in, or professional in the space that they're in. I think that presents a significant opportunity for us to bridge some gap there. I think it's a space we need to work on, and maybe there's a way and means of how we do that. Okay, I said I'm not going to be long, so I promise this is my last point that I'm going to touch on. Lastly, I'd like to touch on the really strong women in our project and where they are now. And the first one I'd like to touch on is Faith. I see Faith was on the call. Yeah, she still is there. So Faith spent a lot of good time in this project. She was one of the first project managers that started in the IE project. And early last year, she moved on to the group head of energy and climate change at Goldfields. Right. So Malisha Pillay, who also just recently left the project as well, spent a lot of good time in the project and did some really good work. And she moved on to become a principal consultant for corporate sustainability and climate change at ERM. Akona Mbebe left to become the sustainability manager at BDO, and she left earlier this year as well. We then have some really strong women that are still in the project and doing really good work. My colleague Wanatari Maja, who's leading the industrial energy project here in Gauteng. We also have Bianca Lachman, who's currently leading the project in Durban, and she's assisted by Nontobeko. We have Pumla Makai. Pumla was really critical in providing or being the secretary of the project and doing a lot of admin responsibilities. So thank you, Pumla, for that. Pietro de Vet, we can't go further without speaking about Pietro because she's been instrumental in being the go-to comms person and also driving the sustainable, the gender mainstreaming component of this project. So thanks, Pietro, for that. Julie Wells and her team. Julie was critical in getting this conference together. It's just unfortunate that she fell ill and couldn't be here, but she has really been the go-to person and a very strong leader in this project in the comms component and getting all these lovely conferences together. And in addition to that, making us look way better than we actually look in the media. and sound very clever in articles as well, which helps. The last two I'd like to touch on is the skills development team. And a very strong woman component in that as well, in Tanya van Zyl and Sybil Rose, who really drove a large portion of this project and really maintained that skills development department and ensured that we remain relevant as well. And lastly, Nikki from UNIDO, who just stepped out, she's also been pivotal in really assisting in this project and gaining traction. So, in conclusion, this project has been tremendously successful. And on this list of women that I just spoke about, and there's many others, they've been really the critical drivers of this project to ensure that this project gained the traction it has gained and continues to make waves in the industry. So with that, I'd like to leave that thought with you, and thanks to the woman that really drove this project. Great.
Thank you very much, Sashay. One of the things that Sashay referred to now with Julie and her team really making sure that our engineers, that our professionals in the project get the exposure that they deserve in the media. Unfortunately, a side effect or unintended consequence of that is that they get recruited. So the people that by other companies, so the people that he'd referred to, those are the ones that we've lost to date. But that we regard as part of building this industry. I want to also just refer, since he's referred to the training, I want to refer you to the NCPC website. There's still trainings going on, and I think it's very important if you can at all attend any of those trainings. If you are interested, please go to the website, see if there are any of those that you're interested in and would like to register for. The NCPC's website is www.ncpc.co.za. Sorry, now in terms of what we're going to do with the rest of the program, firstly, I'd like you all to join me in thanking our speakers today. We thank Ilse, we thank Winnie, who's just stepped out quickly, Sashay, Grania and Carmen, and of course, Rana, who joined us just a little bit earlier. If you could help me in thanking them by giving them a round of applause. I really found this very interesting and useful, and I hope you also did. And we would like to continue with this in some way or other, make sure that we communicate with you. In terms of what we're doing this afternoon, my colleague Juanatari Maja sitting over there, and my other colleague from UNIDO HQ, Elena Stefanova. They'll be leading the discussion this afternoon to see what do we do now going forward, looking at specific needs. You heard a number of things this morning, and also then just briefly, let's just put our heads together and see where do we go from here. What else can we do to make this? What is the next step? What can we do better? So with that, I would like to thank you for your time this morning. It's now time for us to break for lunch, and we'll regather here at 1:30 this afternoon. Thank you again, and enjoy your lunch.